Alright y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Okay, so we've done a camouflage tier list, we've done a gun tier list, so today we're doing a vehicle tier list. Now, I know you guys have been requesting a bunch of different tier lists, and there's a lot of good ideas out there, but vehicle is one that I wanted to do. Now, you could do a bunch of different vehicle themed tier lists based off of like aircraft, or like watercraft or what have you, even ships. So I'm going to be sticking more towards the infantry vehicles. So these are going to be more of like transport crafts or more of like assault vehicles that you would see infantrymen using. So these are going to be more of like transport crafts or more of like assault vehicles that you would see infantrymen using. Okay, so you guys can already see here we have a bunch of different vehicles. They're mainly US vehicles, and I have experience with all of these except this one, and this is a Viking, but I threw it up there just because I figured we've seen it in a bunch of different videos. I can see how versatile it is, so I'm going to try and compare it to the other vehicles that I've used and see if you guys actually agree with that. Now, I would have loved to throw up a bunch of other vehicles and other like foreign aircraft and all that good stuff, but again, I might just be talking out of my butt when I'm talking about those, so I don't want to upset you guys too much like I did with the PKM. So this is stuff that I've used in one form or another, or I just have experience with. So yeah, we'll get right into it. I guess we'll just go left to right. Actually, we'll go right to left, so we'll do the Viking last. So this first one, this is the Lenko Bear, which I think it's an acronym. I know that. I think it stands for like Ballistic Engineered Armored Vehicle or something like that. So this is the Bear. So there's the Bearcat, which is this smaller version here, and then this is the Bear. You can see they sort of look like SWAT vehicles, and that's kind of what they were originally designed for, but I used these when I was on the recapture tactics team. So mainly the Bear, because the Bear was sort of like our mobile command post. So whenever we were reacting to something, we would take the Bear out and we'd have the entire team in there, because it's pretty big. You can actually like stand up in it, so you can fit your breachers, you can fit your designated marksman, and then you could also fit the CQB guys in there as well. So this thing is really cool. Honestly, a lot of room, a lot bigger than it might actually look here. So pretty spacious. We had a lot of breaching gear. We had shotguns in the back. We had a lot of good stuff. So honestly, I have a lot of nostalgia when I'm thinking about this. So I'm going to immediately start throwing this one at an A tier, maybe like a high A. I don't know if I want to throw it at an S. I really do, just because of how nostalgic I was, with this thing. But we'll leave it at an A for now. I think that's a pretty fair rating. Okay, so next we'll do the Striker. So the Striker it's more of an army vehicle. I think in the Marines we have the LAV, which looks very similar. I'm not sure what the differences actually are, but the Striker is more what you'd see in the U.S. Army. Because we have mechanized infantry. I'm sure a bunch of other countries use a very similar model, if not the same model. So the Striker, pretty versatile. Again, it's a really awesome tool. I'm going to have to throw it at an A as well, just because you can, rig this thing up with a bunch of different things. I've seen like Seaburn ones, so you have special ones that are rated to go into like, contaminated environments, and they can like mark certain areas. They can scan for certain stuff. Really cool stuff. Or you can just use it as a normal like armored personnel carrier and use that to transport troops. So pretty versatile. Not necessarily anything too crazy good about it, so I think A is pretty solid. Okay, so now the Black Hawk. Now, this is a pretty old aircraft, and I think most of y'all will just immediately recognize it from like Black Hawk Down or some movie or something. These things are very popular, so they're pretty versatile again, but there's nothing too crazy special about these. So honestly, I think it's just going to have to go at a B. Again, normally you'll see them now used as like medevac birds, not so much for like transporting people. I've seen people do like jumps out of them and parachute out of them, but aside from that, you're not going to have too much. We did use these to insert our reconnaissance unit one time, so you can use it for that, but there's not a whole lot of space in it, so it's not generally going to be used for like normal infantrymen. As you would with like other aircraft like the Chinook or the Osprey or the CH-53. So Black Hawk is very good, but for infantrymen, not necessarily as versatile as some other things. Okay, so the CH-53. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where. Okay, actually, hold on. Let's do something real quick. Okay, so let's select this. and then do that. Okay, there we go. So if you guys don't know why I did that, I was in a CH-53 crash, and that's basically what it looked like after a crash. So a little morbid, I gotta say. But yeah, this thing is immediately going. Actually, where's that? Here we go. Hell yeah. Okay, you guys ready for this? I need to set this up properly. So we'll throw this up here, and then we'll put here we go. We'll put the 53 right in the trash can. Hell yeah. Okay, yep, and that's basically where that belongs. Now, I will say it's extremely versatile. It's been used by a lot of different militaries and all that good stuff. You know, it's got very good heavy lift capabilities. It's a huge aircraft, so you know it can carry a lot of weight. It can carry a lot of people. I don't know, we comfortably fit maybe around 20 people in that thing. But geez, when you go inside, there's like hydraulic fluid just constantly leaking. So when you're walking up the ramp, people are always slipping just because the ramp, even though it has a coating, it's also coated in the hydraulic fluid that's constantly leaking. So you get in that thing, and honestly, it's just sketchy every single time. And sometimes they do just fall out of the sky. So yeah, that's where that one belongs for me. You guys might have some mixed opinions on that one, but I'm just gonna have to leave that one right there. So yeah, if you guys have any arguments for it to come out of the trash can, by all means, put that down in the comment section. Okay, so the V-22, the Osprey. This is a really cool aircraft. Now, it looks extremely badass. I gotta say, when I was joining the Marines, I didn't even know that we were actually using the Osprey. I just saw it, and I was like, oh, that's like a really cool futuristic vehicle that I probably won't ever get to see. But it's been in service for a pretty long time. I think maybe even like the 80s or 90s. So pretty cool aircraft. Dude, I really want to throw it at an S tier, but so this is also known as the Carolina Lawn Dart by a lot of Marines because these have a tendency to also fall out of the sky. Basically, they don't have the best track record, but I think they're really cool. They look extremely badass. A little bit more versatile than the Black Hawk, just because it does carry, again, maybe like 20 people comfortably with all their gear and whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty good for transporting people. You know, you could take that thing onto the ship, drop people off, and you know, there's no issues right there. So we use this a bunch as far as like sea to shore movements. So really awesome aircraft, and it's a tilt rotor, so the blades will actually rotate whenever it's in flight. They'll go from being like a vertical lift vehicle, so they'll rotate forward, and you can go a little bit faster. So really cool aircraft there. So I'm going to put that in A tier. I think that's a pretty fair rating. A lot of people will probably put this a little bit lower, but I've never crashed in one of these, but I have crashed in that one. So okay, this is a cool vehicle. This is the Marine Corps' UTV, which is something terrain vehicle. Yeah. Now, I don't know how long the Marine Corps has actually been using this. When I got back from deployment, we started getting these, and people started going to the course to actually learn how to drive these, which is really badass. So the Marine Corps has been using this for a few years now. We had them back in 2016. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really cool, really versatile. Again, it's not like crazy awesome. You can't do a whole lot with it, but you can move a lot of stuff with it. If you have a reconnaissance team, you can move them as well. So I'm going to have to throw this at, we'll say a low B. I haven't seen anything bad about these. Like, they seem pretty reliable. I haven't heard about them breaking down or just being unsafe, you know, being too easy to roll. They seem like they're really cool, really fun. And yeah, just a cool thing to have for infantrymen, just to be able to move stuff around. Okay, so the Lenco Bearcat. Again, this is like the little brother to the Lenco Bear, but this is an awesome thing. This is what I was using a little bit when I was on the normal guard force, when I was on the nuclear submarine base. We had these. The Navy even had them, but the Navy didn't have a machine gun up top. So we would have this with a 240 up top. And it's a pretty cool vehicle. Now, the older generations, like the Lenco Bearcat G1s, those just looked like dinosaurs. I think we actually called them the dinosaurs. But these newer ones are really sick. Sometimes you'd get ones where the driver's seat would face like this and the person behind them would be facing like this, which is kind of cool because you have room in the back for maybe like 6 people. So it's a good reactionary vehicle, and it just looks freaking badass. We didn't have a whole lot of issues with these either. So honestly, I'm gonna have to throw this at a B. So I would throw it at an A, but the bear is just much more. It's just better because you can actually stand up. With the Lenko Bearcat, you'd have to like crouch down in the back whenever you're getting on the seat because there's like benches in the back. So you'd have to crouch in the back. Not as easy to get in or out. And the bear, again, just more room, more comfortable in general. Okay, moving on to the Chinook. Okay, this is an S tier easily. Now, the Chinook, again, extremely versatile. It can lift a bunch of weights, really awesome stuff. It can carry a bunch of people, has like a pretty solid armament. You know, you could have Mark 19s, you could have 240s, you could have, other things in the back as well. Now, you might see that as well. Black Hawk might have like a minigun, might have a 240. The V22, I think you could put maybe like a 240. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about the 53s, but you could do a whole lot with the Chinooks. Very awesome aircraft. I've never seen them, failing too much. I don't know about anyone who's crashed in them or anyone who says anything bad about these. So just really an awesome aircraft. And you see these used all the time by Special Forces just because it's such a reliable aircraft. And it's just, again, very versatile. You can carry a bunch of people. You can even have like rafts in the back because you'll see sometimes where you have like these Special Forces guys take these rafts and take them off the Chinook. So really awesome aircraft. That easily deserves to be in an S tier. All right, so the Humvee. Now, this is just a standard model. You can see the Humvee come in all shapes and sizes, different colors, all that good stuff. You can have up-armored ones with a bunch of armor. You could have ones that are basically just fiberglass and cloth. So, yeah, these come in many different shapes and sizes, but it's just trash. It really is. Like, these things break all the time. It's such a pain in the butt. It's like, my reconnaissance team, I think we had like 6 Humvees and only maybe 2 or 3 of them worked reliably. Well, I say reliably, maybe like 2 of them worked reliably. So these things break a bunch. They're really not that comfortable. Like you sit in the back and your back is just straight up. There's no room to move around, especially when you have like a bunch of equipment in the front, whether it be radios or computers. It's not comfortable. You can take it through like some high water if you really want to, but other than that, it's really not that great. So I'm gonna have to throw it at a D tier. I would say E or F. I don't know what would be E or F. I don't think the military would really have anything that's E or F, to be honest. Besides this 53, that's just a personal thing for me. But yeah, the Humvee, it's okay, but it's not that reliable, not that comfortable, not a whole lot of room. But it's pretty versatile, and it has a pretty old track record. We've been using that for a while now. Okay. All right, this is the Max Pro. This is like a variant of the MRAP, I believe, but the Max Pro is freaking huge, and this thing is a tank. It's got freaking... It's like... So MRAP is mine-resistant armored personnel carrier or something. So this thing is awesome. Great for transportation. You can have a bunch of stuff on the top, whether it be, 240 or what have you. You can have a bunch of automated systems on that as well, I think. So Max Pro is just a really, really solid vehicle. That's definitely going to have to go at an S tier. I didn't use it so much, but I think everyone that I've talked to just loves this thing. And it's just a beast. Like, it's got the V-shaped hull. It's much more reliable and just much tougher than the Humvee was. There might be some guys with some bad stories about it, but I've not heard any. So I think Max Pro definitely deserves to be at an S tier. It's just a really cool vehicle. Okay. All right, we're getting towards the end here. Now we have some weird vehicles here. We have some transport vehicles. We have the amphibious assault vehicle, and then we have the Viking. So this is the Army's just general transport vehicle. Not a whole lot to it. This is the LMTV, which lightweight multi-terrain vehicle or something like that. It's not that great, but it is what it is. It does its job. It's semi-reliable, but it's just, I don't know. I've seen these go down for dumb reasons all the time. But it is pretty cool. Like in the front, if you need to fill up a tire, you can hook up to the front and fill up someone's tire. Pretty spacious in the back. A little bit safer and a little bit like more sturdy than the Marine Corps variant, which we'll get to next. So when you're driving these, you don't feel like you're just going to absolutely die doing anything in it because it's pretty strong. Like in the back, it seems relatively armored, so it's okay. But it is a transport vehicle, so there's not a whole lot to it. Now, the Marine Corps transport vehicle is much, much worse. This thing, we called it the 7-ton. I think the actual name is the MTV, multi-terrain vehicle, I believe. But this thing, holy cow, it literally felt and sounded, and I mean, even was maintained like it was developed in the 50s. I mean, it looks like it too. But these things, holy cow, you get in the back and you're hoping that there's no accident, because a lot of times you'll have like just pieces of wood going over the top, and if that thing rolls, that wood's not going to do anything. At least with the LMTV, you'd have like metal bars, but yeah, normally it would just be like rotted wood, almost like a formality just to hold up the tarp. And yeah, you did not feel safe in this thing. So I'm gonna have to throw it at a D tier. Actually, I'm gonna have to throw it at an E tier. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it at a D tier. Now, here's the thing: with the difference between the Army and the Marines is, in the Army, the infantrymen would have to, do the inspections for their vehicles and all that good stuff themselves. It's called Motor Pool Mondays. You'd go and you'd inspect all the vehicles and just see what's wrong with them, and then let the mechanics know so they could fix it. But in the Marine Corps, I never did any inspection for any vehicle. I didn't worry about that at all. You just arrange transportation to come and pick you up, and they'd come and move you. So it was a little bit slower sometimes. You'd have to wait for transportation to arrive. Sometimes they wouldn't be too reliable, so it would take forever. But we never had to worry about it. So I don't know how reliable these things actually are, but I can imagine they're not that reliable. But I don't know. I mean, I see them get stuck all the time. The LMTV gets stuck a lot too, but I've seen this thing get stuck a lot too. And it's just a huge vehicle. And it's just funny to watch this massive vehicle with these massive tires just get stuck in just general mud. But yeah, it's kind of a death trap. You don't feel safe at all when you're traveling in it, and it's definitely not something you would want to use in combat. Okay, all right. The amphibious assault vehicle. I think this is called the AAV-7, if I'm not mistaken. Dude, this thing. Honestly, this thing might have to go into the trash can with that 53. This thing is kind of trash. So here's the thing with the AAV. Yeah, it's cool. You can take it from ship and you can drive it to the shore and do your amphibious assaults. That's great. However, when it goes off of the ramp of the ship, it goes like underwater, like a pretty decent amount, and you just feel like, okay, well, I don't think these tanks are going to work too well. This thing feels like it's literally just going to sink to the ground. And sometimes it literally does. Sometimes it literally just sinks. And you see this stuff all the time where, people will have to do an emergency evacuation with this vehicle just because it doesn't actually come back up. Most of the time it does. However, it's just like, when that's a concern, it's really sketchy. There's just not a whole lot of confidence with this thing, because you'll drive it. It goes like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 10 miles per hour in the water. So it's pretty slow. Pretty slow targets as well. Now, when you're inside of it, it's just the worst thing ever. It's extremely loud. It's extremely shaky. It's like, holy cow, this thing probably won't make it anywhere. And then you also have like the exhaust just blowing in your face. You have people actually getting sick and throwing up inside this thing. Sometimes it literally just sets on fire. Like we were doing an amphibious landing, and then one AV just set on fire. And then everybody started puking in the back because there was fire, there was smoke, there was like exhaust fumes. So, that's a terrifying thing, especially when you're in the water, nowhere near the shore. So, yeah, not a whole lot of confidence with this. I'm not going to say it's trash. This thing is kind of trash. I'm not going to say it's trash because, I mean, it is somewhat versatile, but it's just not very reliable. So, I'm going to have to throw this at an E tier. Just not a good thing. And I'm glad they're getting rid of these and trying to get some new ones, because yeah, it's just a scary thing, and it's not cool whenever you have people who can't be confident that they're actually going to make it to the shore. That's a pretty scary feeling. Okay, now the last one. This is the Viking. Now, if you guys already know, I've seen a bunch of videos where the Viking was used in some variant or another by a bunch of different militaries. I've seen them being used in the Arctic climate. I've seen them being used in Afghanistan and all this good stuff. So extremely versatile. And it just seems like it works really well in a bunch of different terrains. So I'm gonna have to throw it an S tier. And again, I don't have personal experience with this, but just seeing how versatile it is, and you know, again, it is what it is. It's a transport vehicle, but just having that ability to take this transport vehicle anywhere and use that is really awesome. Because if you can have like reliable, semi reliable vehicles that can take you to all these different, you know, missions, take you on all these different missions and all these different terrains, then that's an awesome thing to have, and an awesome asset for sure. So I'm going to throw it at an S. Let me know if you guys disagree with that one, because again, I don't have personal experience. I don't know how comfortable it is in the back, but I can't imagine it's any worse than the AAV, because that thing is just, it's the worst. Being in the back of that thing is actually the worst. And I'll put a clip up right here so you guys can see how miserable that is. But I think the Viking is pretty good. So let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know what you think about this entire rating and this vehicle tier list. So relatively even, honestly. So we have 3 in the S, 3 in the A, 3 in the B, and then we have scattered C, D, E, and then we have that 53 in the trash. Again, that's a personal thing. So let me know what you guys think. If you disagree with something, let me know why. And yeah, let me know what you would rate, or let me know what other vehicles you might want to see up here. And yeah, if you have any personal favorites for your military, let me know as well, and why you think they're awesome or not. Because yeah, I might have described some of these things that might sound very similar to some of the vehicles that y'all use in your countries and your militaries, so let me know. But yeah, some of these are just dreaded by a lot of people, and the AAV is a big one. But let me know what you guys think about the video regardless. This is a really fun thing to do. I love doing these tier lists just because I can explain my experience with all this different stuff. And then we also get like a cool visual representation of all of this. But yeah, this is how it stands. So again, let me know what you guys think. Very fun video to do. Pretty easy. And it's always just fun doing like this photoshopping all these vehicles and doing this with the 53. But yeah, really fun. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to see any other tier lists. I'm totally down to do them, as long as I have some general experience with what I'm doing, so I'm just not getting like completely roasted in the comments section. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. That is it for this video, so I'll see y'all in the next one.